Hey guys, in this video we will be seeing the main conditional and loop statements in Matlab. The conditionals or if-else statements are a fundamental part of most programming languages and are used for decision making while running code. So this is the syntax of if-else statements in Matlab. So here the condition is an expression, usually a relational operation that your program will evaluate. Now, if the condition returns the logical answer true, then the code within the if blocks or this code here will get executed. And if the condition returns the answer false, then the code within the else block gets executed. And we terminate the if else statements using the end keyword. So let's see an example here. So here the question asks us to write a program which takes input from the user and determine whether the input is a number or not. So first let's type the command which takes input from the user. So here I am asking the user to enter a number, and the number entered by the user gets stored in the variable num here. So now we all know that if a number when divided by 2 returns the remainder 0, then it's an even number. So we are going to use that principle over here. So if if the remainder of the number entered and 2 is equal to 0, then the program should print even, else it should print odd. And we will terminate this if else statement using the keyword end here. So one thing to note is that in Matlab, usually in other programming languages, we use the percentage symbol to, find the remainder of two numbers. But here in Matlab, we use the REM function instead of parenthesis, instead of the percentage symbol, since the percent symbol is used for writing comments in Matlab. So always keep that in mind. So when I run this code over here, so first it asks me to enter a number, and if I enter this here, so it evaluates. So I entered a number 8, so this 8 gets stored in the variable num, and here the if condition checks whether the remainder of 8 divided by 2 is 0. Since this returns this relational operation returns the answer true, the code here gets executed, and the compiler just skips the rest of the code. So now if I had entered an odd number, say 9, here it checks whether this condition is satisfied. Since this is not satisfied, the compiler skips this code here, and it jumps to this line of code here, and it prints odd. So this is how if-else statements work in MATLAB. Now you can also have multiple conditions by using if-else. So here we have a question which asks us to check whether a number is a positive, negative, or 0. So here again, I'll ask my user to input a number, and let's store this in some variable num. So if The sign, so we had already seen the sign function in the first video. So if the sign of the number, if this sign function returns 1, then the number, then our number will be positive. Now, else if the function, if the function returns the value -1, then the number would be negative. So and else if else then obviously we have just one case, that is the possibility of the number being 0. So and we'll terminate the if else statement using the keyword in here. So when I run this, so this asks me to enter a number, and if I type enter a random positive number, it will print positive. If I run this again and enter a negative number, this will print negative, and if I then run this again to enter 0. So this prints 0 over here. So in this structure, the conditions are checked from top to bottom. If the first condition is true, then the first code of block is executed. If the first condition is false, then the second condition is checked after skipping the lines of code in the enclosed in the first condition. And if this is true, if this condition over here is satisfied, then this code block here gets executed, and so on. The compiler evaluates each condition and do the and executes the necessary lines of code. Now, let's look at the switch case programming. The switch case is a branching statement used to perform actions based on available choices instead of making decisions based on conditions. So, it's a multi-way branch statement that provides an easier way to dispatch execution to different parts of code based on the value of just one single expression. So, the difference is that here you had in the if else statements, you had to write conditions again and again, and but here you just have to write the condition or the value just once, and based on the value of the operation which we perform here, the switch statement compares the different cases and executes the code. So let's see that. So in this structure, the expression is just evaluated once, and the value or the answer of the expression is compared with the values of each case over here. If there is a match, the code associated with that case gets executed. So let's see this using an example. So same here, I am asking the user to enter 1, 2, or 3. Um, Now I write the switch statement. So um, here I am I am using the value stored in the variable opt to to run this code. So the compiler checks whether the value given in each case is equal to the value inside to the value stored in the variable opt. So if I had if the user prints enters one, so the compiler will print one. If the user entered 2, then the compiler will print 2. If it's 3, then the compiler will enter 3. And here we have the otherwise option the otherwise case. So if the value entered by the user does not match with any of the cases, then the code enclosed within the otherwise block gets executed. So now let's terminate this using the end keyword. So let's run this code here. So it asks me to enter 1, 2, or 3, and if I type 2, if I enter 2, this 2 gets stored in the variable opt, and the switch statement over here, the switch function over here, it checks the value of opt with the values of each case. Since the value of opt matches with this case here, it prints 2. Now if I run this code again to enter some other number, say 7, now the switch operation checks the value of 7, the value of opt, and the case is given here. Since the value inside opt does not match with any case, it executes the code given in the otherwise block of the uh, switch statements. So this is how switch statements switch statements are executed in Matlab. Now, the otherwise keyword is used to specify the code to execute if the expression or if the value here doesn't match any keys values. Now let's look at the try or catch statements here. So the try catch statement is a common construct in many programming languages. It's there in Matlab too, and it's used to handle parts of code that might produce errors. So, same. I have a vector 1, 2, 3. So this is a 3 by 1 matrix, and say I have another matrix over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is a 3 by 3 matrix. So let me run this code so that this gets stored here. So if I now we all know that we can only perform B cross A, B star A. We cannot perform A star B since the dimension does not match here. So suppose that I don't know the dimensions of A and B, but I know that either A star B or B star A works. So for that, in such cases, we can use the try or catch statement. So here I am. So here first I will type the keyword try. So here I will try A star B. Now, if this is how you write. So here I will try A star B. Now, if A star B doesn't work, if it returns an error, then I'll perform B star E. And we'll end this using the end statement. So let's look whether this will work or not. So here, since this code over here, this code returns an error, MATLAB jumps over to this code here. So this is how try and catch statements work. So if you want to print same, so we can do this also. Usually, this try and catch statements are used to the catch. The in most cases, the catch part of the code contains the command to print the string over here. In most cases, in most programs. So if fprintf, so yeah. So here, since this returns an error, the catch part of the code gets executed. Now, so this is how try and catch statements work. So the try block contains the code that might generate an exception and error. If the exception occurs in the try block, the program control is transferred to the corresponding catch block. The catch block includes the code that is executed when there occurs an error inside a try block. So this try catch mechanism allows us to write code without having to test each statement. Now, let's look at loops in MATLAB. Now, loops are essential for repeating code blocks multiple times, for automating tasks and handling data efficiently. Now, MATLAB offers two main loop types. So, the for loop and the while loop. Now, here in the for loop, we have the keyword for. Now, the index is a variable that takes on each value in this values list, and this values list is a vector or a range of values to iterate through. And here, the statements are the code to execute for each value of index. So, here I have an example. Now, this question asks me to print numbers from 1 to 10. So here I will first write the keyword for, then the variable I will be my index. Now I is equal to 1 to 10. Now this is my the range of values through to iterate through. Now then I'll so here I am basically backslash n, so I, so here I am printing numbers iterating through 1 to 10, and I print, this command prints the value of I in each iteration, and we will terminate this using the end keyword here. So when I run this, see here, in the first iteration, the value of I is 1, so it prints I. The second iteration, value of I becomes 2, it prints 2, and so on it goes. Now that was for loop, and now we have the let's look at the while loop here. Now here inside the parenthesis, we have a condition which is usually a Boolean expression that determines whether the loop should continue or not, and statements, of course, the code to execute as long as the condition here is true. So let's try to do this question using the while loop. So while so first, let me clear the workspace. Now here, let the initial value of I be 1. So now let's use the while loop. So here uh, till the value of I is less than or equal to 10, I want my program to print the numbers. So percentage d backslash n I. Now uh, so and then I is equal to I plus 1. So this increases the value of I after at the end of each iteration, and let's terminate this using the n keyword here. So when I run this, so this also prints the value from 1 to 10. It checks at each iteration whether the value of I is less than or equal to 10. So when the value of I becomes 11 after the last iteration here, um, uh, the while loop stops. So this was all about conditional statements and loop statements in Matlab. So let's wind up the 0 to 1 series with this. In this series, we looked at the most basic functions, the most fundamental functions, the most fundamental operations that we usually do in Matlab. We are mostly going to work with these functions and operations while doing problems in linear algebra, ODE, probability, and stat in future. So thanks for watching. Bye.